Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of How with Special Needs. And we're very lucky. This is the first interview I do. I'm very excited. And I love that it's with Ana. So thank you, Ana, for joining. I actually met Ana here a year ago at the Bay Cottage. We are staying right now at the Bay Cottage. We're going to talk about this facility in a minute. So thank you, Bay Cottage, for allowing us to have this interview here. This room is very precious for us and for Ana as well. She's gonna tell us in a second. Ana, first, tell me 3 things about you so we get to know you a little bit better.
First, thank you for inviting me. For me, it's always a pleasure to talk about my son Philip. So, thank you for having me. And about me, well, I am Colombian, but I think I was born in the wrong country because I love Italy. I never been in Italy. I never been. But I don't know. I have the images. I think I like it, and I love the Italian food. It's my favorite, and my favorite dessert is tiramisu and gelato.
Wow.
And
Yes.
yeah, I have always dreamed. I love Italian bags. I would love to visit your country maybe next year. I also like the movies. I like to dance.
Yay,
We have
you
many
go,
things in
girl.
common, you know.
Lots of things in common. I'm gonna bring you to dance some salsa
Oh,
afterwards.
thank you.
Anna, thank you for joining and for sharing the beautiful story of your family and of Philip, your son.
Thank you.
May I ask you what condition are we talking about today?
Yeah. So Philip had something called Menkes disease. It's you can spell it Menkes, Menkes, and it's a very rare condition. The doctor said it's easier to get 3 times the lottery rather than have Menkes, but I was the very lucky.
Very lucky
have
lottery
it.
ticket.
Yes.
What's does it have any nickname?
Yeah, it's called kinky hair. It's funny. It's funny hair. To be honest, I never got to see like really bad hair. I just saw on Google, but Philip had at the back some hair that were like not growing, but yeah, it was kind of funny. And we were lucky it was at the back, so all the pictures he looks so pretty.
He was beautiful for his mama. Oh, I love
Thank
it.
you.
Do you know how long people have been talking about Menkes? Is it a recent condition they started diagnosing pretty recently, or has it been around for a long time?
To be honest, I don't know how long. I know it's for years, but don't know because the information is pretty much on Google. First time I got to search there, it's a very painful place to have research because it's not all accurate and anyone can write in Google. So it was not good for my mental health, so I stopped checking on Google.
Yeah.
So I really don't know. And also, doctors don't like to talk too much about these diseases. They don't want to overwhelm the patient and family. So in our case, they prefer us to go through our own journey. So I don't have too much information about this disease. I only got to know other family that was living this experience at the same time with us, but other than that, I didn't have any communication to anyone because it's so rare that it's not easy to find, and I didn't want to uh, be overwhelmed.
Yeah. So, to your knowledge, there was only one other family with Menkes here in
Yes.
Sydney.
In Sydney. In the rest of the world, I have no idea. I check, but the cases, all those patients already passed away when Philip had the disease. So I didn't want to ask anything at that time. Every family is different. Some people like to know. But in my case, in that period of time, I was too scared. So I decided just to live my own experience.
Yeah. And what are the conditions that this syndrome presents with?
Okay, so Menkes, it has the lack of copper. So the metabolism don't produce enough copper, and it's very important. So it affects boys because, for example, in my case, I am a carrier and I don't have any symptoms. I even went to uni. I grew up like a healthy girl, But for boys, its life expectancy is around only 3 years old. So it's really bad. And yes, so this lack of copper have many implications in the body. So for example, Philip had problems feeding himself, so he had to use a nasogastric feeding tube, developing, growing the bones, the muscles, so he was not able to hold the neck, and he was not gonna be able to talk, to walk, to crawl, to it also it's under the umbrella of the childhood dementia. So
Okay.
if they have any skill, they will lose it through the time. So it's a really devastating disease, because you can see how the it really impact the life of the children and also the families.
Yes. I had no idea before hearing this that we are actually producing copper in our
Yeah.
body and we couldn't live without it.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable. And this childhood dementia, so basically they learn how to breastfeed, they learn how to drink from a bottle, but then eventually they forget about it.
Yeah. Some can use it, but some even don't have the skill even to drink for a bottle or from the breast. So for example, Philip, he was, even when we tried so much, it was not possible for him, and the majority of his lifetime he was being fed by a nasogastric tube.
Yeah. And how did you find out about this condition?
He was born at 35 weeks on a C-section. It was many signs during pregnancy that something was not good, but we didn't know was making, and it was not a chance to get to know it was that, because it's so rare that it's not in the list of the pregnancy. They only do this test if you have a relative who has this disease. So no
But you
clue.
didn't know you were a carrier
I
yet.
didn't know. And yeah, so I have different symptoms, and he born very little. He was in the nursery for 1 month. He developed hypothermia. He was not able to suck the bottle or the booby. He had uh, hernias. He different things that for me as a mom, first time mom, was difficult to see for me. I had a healthy baby, but for all the doctors, something was happened. Even when these symptoms are common in healthy babies, but just the fact that they were all together in one kid, it's a big alarm, for doctors to know something is not good. So they did many exams. They were like, okay, so they didn't have clue what was happening. So in one meeting, they decided to bring the geneticist and find out if we were talking about a genetic disease. And when the doctor came, he was able to compare Philip's symptoms with the other kid that was already alive. His name is Bo. Was so lovely, and they compare symptoms, and he said, "We're gonna go to check the Menkes disease, and if it's not Menkes, we need to run a panel of many genetic disease to find out which one is, because I am 100% sure is he has a genetic disease." And because this Menkes need to be diagnosed at early stage for you not to have brain damage, so he knew he was running through the time, so yeah, so this exam take like 6 months, but because of the urgency, the laboratory was able to do during 1 month, and he was lucky not to have brain damage.
This is amazing because basically it takes 6 months to get this test done to find out if it is Menkes. But because the pediatrician, the geneticist that you guys met, had already bought the only other child here in Sydney that had Menkes, he saw this before and he could rush the test so much within the first month and a half so that Philip didn't have brain damage. This is amazing.
Yeah, it was a really good blessing for us because we had to start the treatment before the 2 months for not having it, and we were able to share the medicine from both. So because it's they produce copper just for these kids, you cannot buy in a pharmacy. So the fact that they say, okay, we're gonna make extra for the other kid. If it's not, okay, we keep for the other kid. But if it is, they're gonna share. And they share the medicine with us at the beginning while they start producing the copper for Philip.
Oh, amazing. This is amazing.
It was such a gift for us because it really improved, well, not improved, but it didn't decrease his quality life. He was able still to play a bit, and even when we were struggling with many things, he didn't have the brain damage. So it was a big gift.
Yes, absolutely. It was life changing. And now that we talked about the syndrome a little bit, the condition, how did this journey, this diagnosis impact your family, your couple?
Yeah, no, it was devastating because when you receive a diagnosis like this, is your life changed forever. It's life sentence. It's no cure. Maximum you have 3 years, could be less, and you're gonna see your children deteriorate so badly that it's very painful to watch. And your life just changed forever. A piece of us died that day, the day of the diagnosis. Because many dreams, many memories and things that we wanted to create together as a family, they were not gonna be possible. And Philip was a kid that was very planned. We wanted.
You chose to be parents.
We chose to be parents. It was not an accident. Oh, this happened, and now what I'm gonna do? No, he he was planned, and he we loved him so much that it impacted our lives so much. But on the other hand, like, it was a gift that we had the chance to meet him and to experience this time with him, because it was also the possibility that he could die when I was pregnant, because he was not growing. No one had clue something was wrong, or things can change. But we had the chance at least to meet him, experience some wonderful time with him, learn, and let him go.
It's incredible to hear because it is already life changing when you become a parent. Your life completely changes, but and your life again changes even further when you receive a diagnosis. But in your case, you just were not dealing with a diagnosis. You were living with the time is clicking. Like, you had sort of an expiry date. Sorry for the terrible term. It's sort of very unnatural for a parent to cope with the idea, I am going to survive my child. It's very, very personal, and I understand that then you guys did some further tests. You came out as carrier, and you're absolutely fine. And nobody else, right, in your families had
No,
anything?
nobody else. So when they did this test, they say, okay, we want to find out who has it, just because for future as well, if we want to have more kids, or something, like, it's necessary for us to know what are we dealing with.
Yes.
But you want to know something funny about that? When we did that test, the genetics say not all the parents accept to do the genetic test, because in some cases you can find out that the father of your son is not the person you think is gonna be. So he said, like, he wanna think about it, you know.
Are you sure you want to know if you're the father or not?
We were very
Okay.
surprised, you know, like, what? It was shocking, like,
Other moms are like, no, we don't need to know. Live it. Live it. No, really, we can test. I told you, live it.
yeah, so some parents don't test.
Oh. For a couple as well, that might be such a shock, such an impact on the dynamics of the couple. The expectations, yes, to have a further family,
Yeah.
but also the grief, the burden that you bring on, knowing that your lives have changed drastically from that moment on.
And also it can impact the mental health of the
Yeah.
person, you know, because it every person deals differently, but some people could say, I'm guilty, you know, I have this, I give this to my son or my daughter, even it's not intentional, but the mind plays sometimes games that you don't want to go through this. And one thing is, if you are the carrier, you have it. Other thing is, it just happened, was a mutation, you know.
Yeah.
So what can you do? Some
Yeah.
things are just meant to be, and no one has control, but also no one guilty. What can you do with that information? It's just, you need to look what is best for families.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Gar, there are so many things that I would like to ask you. First, let me ask you, how long did Philip live? When did he take his wings?
He lived for 9 months, and he became an angel the 10th of November 2023.
So last year.
Yeah, it was 9 months. It sounds very short, and in time is short, but it was very joyful time. We had great memories, and we make the most of it. So I think sometimes you don't need a long life to have meaning and to just do the best. Sometimes there are short ones, but full of love.
He brought so much to your lives. He had, and I've seen him, and I met you guys here at the Bay Cottage last year because we were all here, and he was such a cheeky boy.
Yes, he was very cheeky. So Bear Cottage is the palliative care house for kids,
Yes.
and we have end of life here, but it's also a respite place for families who have different disease that are not end of life.
Yeah. So it is under the umbrella of the Sydney Children's Hospital Network. So along with the Children's Hospital in Westmead, Children's Hospital in Randwick, so two different parts of Sydney, and Bay Cottage, which is a respite facility, still with medical team, but they do give respite. They do give support to families dealing with chronic conditions, palliative care, and yes, end of life. May I ask you, how did you guys end up here?
Yeah, well, it's it's something like difficult was at the beginning, because when they told us, you know, he's gonna die at some point, and we have this place, but we let you know later when the time is coming. They didn't sell it as a respite where you can go have a break. You as a parents are very tired and you need extra support, and you know, just a chef that is gonna help you with the cooking. You don't need to clean. You don't need to worry about anything. Just enjoy. They didn't sell it like that. So when I get to check on internet, I was crying. I was crying so badly because the pictures make me very emotional. I was like, is it when I go there, it's gonna be like my last days? So I met the other mom of Bo, the other kid that had Menkes, and she told me, we're gonna go there if you want to join me. And she say, oh, it's a respite. She's the one that explained me. And I tell to Conrad, my husband, and my mom, who was living with us during that period of time, I say, you know what? I'm going. And they say, no, that is horrible. It's he gonna die now? Because we were all scared when there was no information. And I say, don't you worry, I'll be okay. I'm gonna go with Nicole, and I let you know. So my mom say, if you go, I go. So we came here.
Your mom doesn't live here in Sydney. She was just here
Yeah,
during that
she
time.
came here to meet Philip when he born, but he was diagnosed very early. So she decided to help me during that period of time. She stayed with me, and it was very very helpful and full of love for Philip and for me and for Conrad. So it was great, and we came all together with my mom, Philip, and me to Bay Cottage. Philip was so happy. As soon as we entered this place, he was smiling like I never seen before. So I think he knew this was a great place, and kids are very intuitive. You know, they can tell you without talking if they're happy, if they like something, if they feel comfortable. And he showed us this is my place. So I call Conrad, my husband, and I say, you know, this is a safe place. Come. He came to visit. We were here only like 3 days or 4 days. It was amazing. We received a lot of love, and we get to know like more families. And when was the time for end of life, we came here, and then it's when I met you here. But yeah, this is such an amazing place for families like ours.
What were the wins? I don't know if we should call it wins or miracles, or during your time with Philip, um, what were the best moments?
Well, I like to call it gifts. So I think Philip chose me as a mom, and he had many gifts for me, even in this painful and difficult experience. So I found my voice. I know can express now what I like, what I don't, or what I'm comfortable, or I can advocate for him and for other people as well. I found like joy. I learned how to live like a joyful life or meaningful. You know, I left behind many old patterns that were not gonna take me to a happy place. So I learned many skills when I was with him. I start to be more confident, and yeah, I was happy that I was dealing with all this, because with this experience I just became a better person.
Amazing. And what were the challenges of this time?
It was many challenges, because first of all, just to know the time is short. You need to really play with the present time, because if you are in the future, that bring you anxiety, so you stop enjoy the moment with your kid. If you are in the past, it gives you sadness, because oh, past I didn't have these problems, or my dreams were different. So it I think that being on the present was the most challenging thing, and to get to know that, for example, in my case, Philip was not Menkes. He was Philip. He just had Menkes, but it doesn't define who he was. The things that he couldn't do, done, it doesn't mean he's less than no one. He was just him, and he was perfect the way he was.
Yeah.
So to understand that things, because we are used to compare. In me, I was comparing all the time, you know, oh, this baby can do this, why not mine? Or yes, in denial, but
Yeah.
when you accept it, you know that it's just your journey, and it has many blessings that people that are not living the experience cannot see. And it's very challenging, and it's very sad. And if I could choose, I would say, oh, you know, I prefer Philip long life and healthy, but I didn't have the choice. So I had to make the best of it. And that was one challenge. Also, it bring couple challenges, because you are dealing with grieving even when he was alive. You are dealing with communication problems, because first of all, we all have communication problems. You know, people can express something, and the other person can understand something different. Or
Yeah.
even me, I am not a English speaker like native.
It's your
I'm
second
learning.
language,
It's my
yeah.
second, and many times I wanted to say something, and he understands something else. Or the other way. He wanted to say something and I understand something different. And yeah, just to deal with the expectations of each other,
Yeah.
it was hard. And advocating for him, because the way that we have to go through this was just by experience, so doctors didn't have idea what they were dealing with. It every case is so different, even if
Yeah.
the same disease, they behave different symptoms, different everything. So you are just unique and you're going through this, and you need to learn how to trust your gut,
Yeah.
just I just know, and that's it, period. You are the one that say to doctor what your kid need and what you need him to do. That's it. Because you are the one that speak with the specialist and you have the most knowledge than anyone. That's another thing. Also, where I didn't create, for example, in that period of time, limits or boundaries. So I was advocating only for Philip, but not for me. And I accept many things in that period of time that were harmful for me. They were painful.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know how to cope because I wanted everyone, like my family and people around us, to be all good. But sometimes you need to put yourself first, especially if you are the mom or the dad, because you are the first person that is next to your son or daughter. So that's something I learned through this experience, is just to put limits or boundaries when necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there were many things, like another challenge I had is my family was in Colombia. I was here only with my mom, my husband, but I didn't have the physical. Well, my family came to visit Philip and to get to know him, because once he was very unwell, I told them, if you want to meet him, you must come now.
Now.
And everyone bought tickets. They were super supportive all the time, on the phone, traveling, because it's a lot of cost, time, and things that.
Yeah.
But
Logistics. Yeah.
yeah, but everyone was very aware of this. I had like many friends here also that support us, but I at the same time sometimes you want to be with your close family, and it was not easy. We wanted to make the most of it, and sometimes was difficult.
Yeah, because you're dealing with such a short time. They were giving you up to 3 years.
Yes.
But you didn't know if it was 1 year, if it was 2 years, if it was 6 months. How is it going to be? So I
Yeah.
know that we can get up to, but it creates a lot of pressure, time
It
pressure,
does.
time sensitive pressure, and time sensitive advocating.
Yes, it is.
And did you have a moment when you were like, this is not going to happen?
Well, yeah, the day I got the diagnosis, the day we got to know, like, you know, it's terminal. That day I was super sad, and I just wanted to cry with Philip on my chest. So I noticed that he was very sad. You don't want to feel your son or daughter this way. So it was like a wake up call for me. Like, they check me, like, okay, we don't have the time. What do you want to do? You want to be in bed crying, or you want to give him the best memories we could have? So I remember next day I say, I'm gonna make the most of it. My husband Conrad, he was not coping, because I understand everyone is so different and so many things, like it's normal.
And it's very personal, yeah.
Yes. So I said to myself, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give him the best life I could have ever imagined. So I decided I'm gonna live the present. I'm not gonna think about past, about future. Just enjoy every single minute. I'm gonna make the most of it. So I remember I sent a message to my family and my friends to say, okay, we got this diagnosis, but you're gonna get to see how this is gonna be the happiest boy in the world. And I start to make memories and to look after him and just focus on the present, because every time I think about future or past, the attention was not in the right place,
Yeah.
and it showed me the result that Philip was sad. So I decided to live every minute. I decided to go to therapy, and I had every week, sometimes 2 times a week. I chose a schedule like 2 a.m. or things where were very late night, or my appointments were in Colombia, was online.
Wow.
So I always make the time to do this, because I say I need to be okay to give the best. If I'm not okay, I cannot give the best. So it was a really game changer of how I approached the situation.
Yes, amazing. Because
Yeah.
you did hold everything and everyone together for the time being. And you were going through, you said you had a cesarean. So
Yeah.
you were going through a body transformation as well. You were going through the diagnosis. You were taking care of your first child with medically complex conditions and very time sensitive, and you were holding everyone around together.
Yeah, so I had this C-section, and he was in the nursery. So next day I stand up, I say I'm gonna walk. I'm not even gonna use the wheelchair. I'm just gonna stand up and boom boom do everything I have to do for my kid, because you know the first time I saw him, we were next to each other only for 5 minutes. I couldn't hold him. He was full of tubes, cables, things. I felt so sorry for him, and I was thinking, he must be feeling so lonely.
Yeah.
Like, what is I born where I am? This is so awful. And I say, at least he need to feel I'm there. So I make the most of it. I remember walking, like feeling everything was gonna get out of my body. It was
Oh
horrible
my god.
sensation. But I did it, and they kicked me out of hospital very soon, like 4 days after I delivered Philip, and I was not supposed to even drive, but
Oh
I
my
drive because I had to carry too many things. I He was premature. He was super little, and I didn't have clothes that size, and I didn't have anyone to go buy nothing for me or do things. And I decided he only had two pair of clothes they give in the hospital. They receive some donations of people who do this, and I was lucky I got that. And I say I'm not gonna spend my time going to a shopping center to buy clothes. I don't care to go home watch every day the clothes until I have the chance to buy when we are out, because you never expect this is gonna happen. You think, oh, maybe in a few days we're gonna go home and it's not gonna be a problem, and it didn't happen. So I was just focusing on him. Nothing material matters for me in that period of time. So I just did the best. I even tried to take the milk, with the pumping machine, but not much came because I couldn't put him in my chest. He was not able to suck. He couldn't feed himself. So it was not working. I got mastitis 2 times. It was so painful and everything, but I didn't care in that period of time. Now that I look back, I remember all the things I went through, and I say, "Oh, I did all these things." But
Super mom.
it that is what any mom do, especially us that have to go through many challenges. You just become tough and tough and tough, and nothing is gonna stop you. Like, I just want my kid to be okay, and nothing is big or too little or whatever. You just do what you have to do.
Apart from the fact that I have to tell you something, because it's completely mesmerizing me, the fact that you were walking the day after the cesarean. What are you, Wonder Woman?
I remember all the nurses, what are you doing? I say, well, my kid is in the other room. I have to attend him. I have to go
Oh
change
my
his
god.
nappy. I have to do, because I wanted to be there for him. And they were, oh, Anna. I said, no, 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 just leave me. I will go through this.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was very challenging, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
no even information, no, nothing.
Especially with such a rare syndrome,
Yes.
because sometimes when you do have lots of stories from other families, there are still so many question marks. But at least you can see there's a growing community. There's also more interest in research. and there might be more opportunities to get grants for funds for research again um, to get more knowledge about the conditions. But if it's such a rare condition, nobody is going to be interested.
No, it's not. And everything we found in Google was like testimonials of parents who already lost their kids. So Conrad was watching these videos, and it's really heartbreaking,
It is.
just to get shocked by this reality that we have to live now with. It's very choking. So I think like it's important just to take care of yourself. Sometimes it's better not to know too much or until you're going through and you need the information. But in early stage for us was very challenging.
Yes, I bet. How did you find the thing of, mom, take care of yourself? In a case of such a time sensitive condition, you're like, no, I don't have time for myself. I need to stay here. I need to treasure, to savor every single moment. How do you deal with a life limiting condition?
Well, to be honest, it was true. You need to take care of yourself because in order for you to give the best, you need to have the best inside you. So I used to go to massage maybe once a month. I went to the movies with friends. I used to go get my nails done once a week. Just 1 hour, it doesn't need to be the whole day, but you just need this little time for you so you feel better and you can provide the best. But it's part of the mental health, it's very important because sometimes when you are too tired and you keep giving, the energy is going down, 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 and then you don't have patience. Maybe you are more reactive. But when you are, oh, I have a little break, I'm not gonna think about this, but then you come like with different attitude just
Yeah.
to go out, just to see other people. Don't remember 1 hour, it doesn't mean you need to go 1 week if no, but little things it make the difference, and you need to be able to think about yourself too. And during my therapy, for example, one of the things they told me, it's like, you are not only a mom, you are a mom, it's true, and you need to give the best,
Yeah.
but you also are a friend, you are a daughter, you are a sister, you are a
A
wife,
woman.
you are everything. And they told me, what's gonna happen when Philip is not there if you were only a mom? What's gonna happen with your mental health? You have nothing to do, you already lost all the relationships outside, you're gonna be alone and miserable. You need to also build this in case, because these are the people who are gonna support you. So I think it's now it makes sense for me. At the beginning, I was the same. Like I need to be every single minute. No, you're not even. If it's a good friend, for example, you can have a 5 minute talk. Doesn't need to talk every day. You don't need to talk all the life. But when you talk, like just the time never gone. You can talk like best friends forever, and people are there, and you need these kind of breaks.
Yeah.
You need to think about other things, because if everything is bad and sad and blah blah, that's what you're gonna give. But when you put some, it's like self-love, you're gonna be better for yourself, better for people who are around you, especially your kid. And they feel it. They are very smart. You don't need to talk, and they don't need to talk, but just the body language say everything. When I was sad, Philip was with a sad face, and it breaks my heart. But when I was laughing or playing, he was having fun, and that's at the end of the day what I wanted for him, a happy boy. So I think it helps a lot through your mental health too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to take care of, if you only can give what you have. But if you don't have it, if you don't have love for yourself, how are you gonna give love
Yeah.
if you don't have it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing. And I remember you talking, mentioning this episode in the hospital where you were very close to the end and you had really to advocate at the hospital and say no.
Yeah, so when he was angry, he used to pull the feeding tube out of his nose, It was a couple of times, and it was very painful because for them it's also painful when they put it in, you know. So
Yeah.
oh, he did it, and I was crying. Oh my goodness! Now I need to take him to do this. So I took him, and when they check, you know, the normal things they noticed in the hospital that his oxygen levels were not good. So they ran him to put oxygen, and they told me like, "Mom, he's gonna stay here because we need to check on him. He's not okay." I say, "Okay, it's perfect, but I need you to run the feeding tube because he was in feeding 24 hours a day. It
Yeah.
was located in the intestine, so
Okay, so it had to be
continuous
continuous feed.
feeding." So the doctor, it was not the pediatrician because it was night, and at night it was no specialist. So she said, "Okay, I'm gonna run it and we see." She ran it, and I say it's not well located because I compare with the previous one I had before, and it was big
Smart girl.
difference. And I told her it's not. She showed me scan. I say no, I don't believe you. Look, it's too big difference. You're not gonna tell me. She said, "Okay, so now we need to wait for tomorrow. You need to go to your room. You're gonna share with another kid." And I was angry. I said, "I'm not gonna share because this is a terminal disease. If you're gonna put my son in risk, he can get contagious with. If the other kid is in hospital, it's because he's sick. That's
Yeah.
simple."
And my kid will definitely get
Yeah.
whatever the other child has.
Exactly. So I said no, and they it's she thought I was like stubborn, but I was not. I was just advocating for him. So then they called the manager, and I said no. If you want, I can sign you. I go home, but I'm not gonna share the room. If my son is gonna suffer, why I have to put him here? But
Yeah.
I take him home and sleep with him, and he was like they waiting. So next day, first thing in the morning, pediatrician came and he said, "I know you wanna go home, so I'm gonna advance the tube and you go." I said, "Okay." We went to advance the tube, and while they were advancing it, Philip like had problems breathing, and the nurse called code blue. And when this happened, so everyone ran to do CPR. But before, previously, I took decision because this was no cure, you know. We knew like it's gonna go really bad.
Terminal.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
terminal, nothing to do, and he was gonna suffer because he used to sleep in the same bed with Conrad and I, in the middle of the bed, and he was always surrounded by love and supported and held. And I knew in intensive care he was gonna be attached to a ventilator to breathe alone, like it was gonna be a hard life, and anyway they were not gonna be able to save his life.
Okay.
So I took the decision we're not gonna do CPR. I want him to have a really good quality life, even if it's shorter, rather than long and painful.
So you already had signed a do not resuscitate a DNR.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know what happened. They didn't read the history. I don't know. Like we also had problem with the morphine because he was getting morphine sometimes for the pain.
Yeah.
And in the hospital, imagine, oh, we don't have morphine. Excuse me?
You don't have morphine in a hospital. Very well done.
They took
Okay.
a long time to find the morphine. I was like, you must be joking, you know?
Yeah.
So he was also like unwell. And then when everyone ran to do the palliative care, like, no, the CPR, sorry. When they come to run, I was screaming, "We are not doing CPR. And I need you, everyone, to move because he's not going to have it." And people were like, "What's wrong with this mom? You know, it's the only mom in the world that don't want to save her son." And I was like, because you hear
don't
people talking, you
understand.
know, like
Yeah.
you're, and I was like, it's not, it's not about that. It's about the quality life of my son.
That's what people don't understand. Sometimes you're only seeing the surface of, oh, this mom doesn't want, oh, thank you for the bells. This is a very topic moment, so we need the bells so people can focus on what we're going to say. It's incredible how love can actually look very different if you have a healthy baby, if you have a sick baby, or if you have a terminal baby.
Yeah.
Love looks very different, and there shouldn't be any judgment whatsoever, because what you were trying to do was give what to Philip, to your son, whatever time he had left with dignity. So you were trying not to strip him of his dignity by being attached to machines and not even have morphine and stay in pain. What is it?
Yeah, it was like sometime for me it was very long, maybe for them not because they were not the parents of Philip.
They were not involved.
Yeah, so it was hard, and after this I asked to be transferred to the hospital where we always used to go because they treat us like family friends, you know. We always come, it was hug for everyone. It was everything we needed to feel like someone care about us and our family. So we were transferred there, and the doctor just said to the person who was in the ambulance, he said like, the mom don't you want to do anything? So if something happened, just don't do nothing. I was like listening, but I not even wanted to argue. You know, I was just in a moment. I
Just let the
knew,
child die.
yeah, I was in a moment. I knew our time was coming, and I don't know somehow, but my intuition was kind of protecting me to have arguments and fights that were not necessary. I just today I feel grateful that it was like that because I was in peace. You know, I did everything my best, and we went to that hospital. Lot of love. We received a call from Bay Cottage to say, you know, we see your son has been too often in the hospital. We can offer you a stay here, respite. I accepted, but we came here for end of life. That was our last month. We had a meeting here with all the medical team of Philip and the doctors. Everyone say we consider Philip has only 1 month left, and it was like that. But it was also a great opportunity for my family and for me to take the most of that month. So we celebrate his birthday, early birthday, because he passed at 9 months. But we had like a little party just between the family and close friends, and we did the
For Christmas, I remember it was October and you guys were celebrating
in October,
Christmas.
we celebrated Christmas. We had his first haircut. We had like memorable times, you know. We took him to the Melbourne Cup to a pub.
Ah.
Yes, we did many different activities to to keep forever and to give him the best time. And I think he felt all that love. He was smiling. He stopped smiling maybe 1 week before he passed, but it was quite a long period, you know.
Yeah.
If he was gonna lose all the skills and everything, I think we did a great job for him, just to giving him quality life.
That's beautiful on your part. You guys did such an amazing job, and he must have loved that month.
It was challenging as well because you know it's your last moments, but at the same time you see how they deteriorate so quickly somehow that for, I was thinking, and Conrad, not as a mom or as a dad, we want him forever, but when you truly love someone, you want the best for that person.
Yeah.
And if the best for that person is not to suffer, you want him to go to a place where it's a happy place, you know. It's no pain, it's no suffering, no limitations. I'm sure wherever he is walking, crawling, everything he couldn't do here, he's doing there. So it gives like some peace of mind to me, and I have learned to say a story to myself that make me feel better rather than play the victim role, because that's not gonna take me anywhere. So I decide to say to myself what is best, and that is what is best for me and my family, and we have pretty much no regrets because we did everything we could have done for him. Like, of course there are things that you always can improve, but with the information and the things we had in that period of time, that was the best. and that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe today we can take different decisions about different things, like how to really love someone. It's something we have been learning since he born.
Oh, Anna, this is amazing. You have such wisdom of uh, embracing what for us looking from outside I can only describe as something absolutely unbearable. And may I ask you, because you have this strong sense of community as well, and you have this wisdom, if there were any people listening to your story, and even they're not dealing with Menkes, but they're dealing with a life limiting condition, and the end date is getting close and they're scared, maybe terrified, what would be your advice to them?
My advice will be just live the present. Like it's time in the future for grieving, you know? It's just enjoy every single minute you have, and be kind to yourself too, because it's very painful and difficult. But in order to give the best, you need to be the best for you too. And yeah, just enjoy this time. Sometimes the small things are the best things, you know. It doesn't need to be something like so big to enjoy with your family. You can be even at home and just be together, hug each other, say how much you love, and say all the things that you think you need to say, you know. And especially I think be grateful, because we have the chance to meet them, to be with them. Not everyone have that opportunity, you know. Some people experience miscarriages and it's very painful, but at least in a very short period of time we could hug and say, I'm here for you, and you are loved. You are you are here with a purpose, because
Yeah.
every person have a purpose. And those kids, every kid that, in general, all the kids have a big, you know, smile and things to give. We have too much to learn from them, because these kids go through a lot of things and they never complain. Even they go to the most painful thing and then they give you a smile. So I would say just enjoy the present. Don't think in tomorrow, in yesterday. Just be be patient, be give love, and just just try to make the most of it, that in the future you can sort out what the future brings. But in the present, only one day at a time, and just make the most of it.
I love it. Thank you so much,
It
Hannah.
helped me a lot. It helped me a lot, to be honest, because I was not thinking in the future and that period of time. Just how to make him happy right now. And also, it's important to choose the people you are surrounded by. This is super important, because some people can put you up or some people can put you down.
Yeah.
And you need to put like boundaries or limits if you need to. But also, yes, just choose who you want to be close to you, because yeah, it's gonna work in your mindset.
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't matter if it's family or not family,
Yeah.
but whoever can lift you up
Yes, exactly.
and not
And
pull you down. Yeah.
yeah, and the that you are not alone. It's always someone, even to listen. I also recommend a therapist, a professional, because it's also a lot of sometimes guilty, frustration, and things that you don't want to say to someone, you know, because you can ruin relationships. You don't want to talk to someone, you know, about your husband or your mother-in-law or your parents or whoever, because this person know them, you know, and it's bad. But a person that can give you the right advice. Some people try to be very friendly and very nice, and sometimes they don't know what to say and they say something that you don't want to hear from
Yeah.
them, or doesn't sound nice or whatever. So you need to find the right person for each thing.
Yeah.
And I think it makes the difference. And mental health, it's very serious.
It
It
is.
is. So even if you need to take the medicines, antidepressive, to cope during the moment, it's not the solution, it's not the answer for your problems. At some point you need to deal it with it. So you need to talk and take it out of your chest, and do the right um, actions for make you feel good and keep living the future and enjoy. For example, in my opinion, or the best way I honor my boy's life is when I'm happy. And I say to everyone, I don't I don't think he will be happy to see, oh, my mom is miserable because she misses me. I think he is like, I'm happy because my mom is making the most of what she has, and she's trying to have, I don't know, siblings for me or whatever. And I think it's the best way, and you need to say what's best for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to play with that.
It is the best way to honor his life.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Um, I read somewhere that you don't move on when you're grieving, but you move with. Like,
Yes.
it's very interesting because
It is.
at some point always gonna be there, and it's gonna be painful, but you still need to move for you.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna carry this little bag with you, the grieving, but you go with the bag. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you cannot smile, that you cannot laugh, because it's misunderstood. Society doesn't know how to support a family who are going through any condition, terminal or not terminal, but people don't know how to. And it's important that everyone understand that they need to find a way to learn. It's not just, oh, because it's not my case, I don't care.
No, no. Actually, Philip didn't just bring a meaningful life for his parents or for his family. He was an example, and he has been a beautiful angel for all of us. And even just you sharing this journey, sharing his story in this special room that you guys had, for you guys, and you had beautiful memories in this room. It does bring to all of us meaning and purpose.
Yeah, I think we are all part of community, and we are here. We can learn from different families or different people, but we always need to look how to be the best version of us.
Yeah.
So I found that I used to be very sick all the time before Philip even. I didn't know, and I think it's not related to Menkes even, but I was all the time in doctor. But I think because of this journey, I changed the chemicals of my brain, and all my body changed. I don't go to doctor anymore. I don't feel sick anymore. I try to eat better. Well, I put a lot of weight during the diagnose, because every time I was sad, I was eating. I ate many emotions,
Yeah.
and it was my way of coping.
Yeah.
And I still have to lose it, but
You're
other than
welcome.
that, thank you. Other than that, I think my health is really good, and I don't even have diabetes, nothing. It's just I just don't feel too comfortable with this.
Girl, that's because your body saw that you started walking the day after you got a cesarean, started driving after 5 days, and your body's like, oh, damn, I can do that. I didn't know. Oh, well, then good to know.
Yeah, but it's all how you look after yourself.
Girl, if there is anyone, especially because Menkes is not as common, it's such a rare condition. But even for others, if anyone wants to reach you, can they find you? How can they find
Yes,
you?
of course. They can find me in Instagram and in Facebook. It's Ana Romanow.
I'll put the link down in the description in the episode.
Thank you. And yeah, I am very happy if I can support, or if someone need to be listen at least, because sometimes you just need to talk it to someone. You just
Yes.
need someone to listen to you, or if I can help anyone, I
Yes.
will be very happy and Philip will be very proud.
Oh, I love it. I know he's so proud of his mama.
Oh, thank you.
And I thank you so, so much
No,
for
thank you
spending
for
this.
having me, Philip, and my family here and share our story.
Yes,
Hopefully, another families feel they are not alone in this journey,
absolutely.
and of course, they have support in this community.
Absolutely. And I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, stay safe. Ciao.
Ciao.